The U.S. government is spending billions of dollars on bolstering its defenses in space. Nikki Aaron has details.
Military defense, Hollywood style.
The United States Air Force has owned this high ground of space for decades. Other nations, other air forces only dream of making such a claim. But what if their dream became reality?
Never expect something you trust to turn against you.
Millions feel the effects. Banks, airports, infrastructure.
You left us open to full-scale invasion.
We'll compete, and we'll win.
The US has unveiled its latest splurge in space with a plan to step up security on its satellites. But not just its own, those of its allies too. The concern is that potential adversaries may be capable of hacking or disabling these satellites. The orbiting hardware, as we know, is crucial to communication, navigation and intelligence gathering, all things that would be crucial in the advent of war. And it's hoped that by sharing this information with its allies, it would deter any potential attacks. But it's just the tip of the iceberg, because space warfare is the big defense trend right now. It's the new black. Well, don't take my word for it. Ask the US top brass of the Air Force.
I cannot think of a military mission that does not depend on space. Russia and China are developing capabilities to disable our satellites.
As the US steams ahead with its space odyssey, it's pouring in billions and roping in the likes of SpaceX's Elon Musk, who's proven he can not only deliver, but he brings the goods fast. But while the jamming of satellites is one thing, the question now is how long will it be before we see actual physical attacks in space? Well, some think it's just a matter of time before American forces find themselves fighting from space. Regardless of whether this is the case or not, one thing's for sure: the US is determined to remain a leader in this field.
The character of warfare has changed. We envision a constellation of nanosatellites, always the predator, never the prey.
And one person unable to contain his excitement is the US president.
Space is a warfighting domain, just like the land, air, and sea. We may even have a space force, develop another one, Space Force. We have the Air Force, we'll have the Space Force. We have the Army, the Navy.
Now, you might think there's no law or regulation on taking things a step too far in space, but in fact there is. Almost a decade ago, 178 countries voted on a UN resolution to prevent a space arms race. Only 2 countries abstained, the US and Israel. Washington also blocked a joint Russian-Chinese effort to ban all weapons in space. So perhaps an inkling there that the US has long been planning on staking its claim to the stars.